Greetings, y'all. Today we're going to do vinyl and we're going to do the R's. So let us begin. From 1988, we've got the Ramones Mania. Great compilation. Good way to kind of start your journey into listening to the Ramones if you're not familiar with them. Double record. They didn't really go out of their way, sire, by making a gatefold or anything. They were all just stuffed in here. I don't even think there was any sleeve or anything. Bought this at Peaches in New Orleans. Really good shop. I think this cost me $20. They had a really good selection. I found a bunch of stuff on CD that I wanted to buy there, but their prices were a little bit on the high side, so I kind of passed up and just picked this up. I think if their prices were maybe $2 or $3 a little cheaper, I probably would have walked out of there with a ton, but this is all I got. This is all I have vinyl-wise for Ramones, but I actually, before I even got that record player, probably in the mid-2000s, I thought I was going to get back into vinyl and pick up a record player. So with that in mind, I bought the first 4 Ramones albums. I guess they'd been reissued on like color vinyl. Picked all 4 of them up. I think I got them as a set, so all 4 of them. And I don't think it was very expensive. I think I got a pretty good deal on them. Had them sitting in my apartment for years and years. Never bought a record player, so I just decided to sell them to Vintage Vinyl when I bought a bunch of stuff there to sell. Didn't even open them. They were unopened. Sold them to Vintage Vinyl. They obviously took them. Then maybe 2 years later, I get a record player, and I'm like, damn, I wish I had held on to those Ramones records. So when I was down there in Peaches and I saw this, I decided to pick it up. This actually was my introduction to the Ramones. I think I'd heard a couple of songs by them. I definitely a video, like the Sedated video. I'm sure I saw that on U68 in the mid-'80s, but I wasn't that familiar with the Ramones. I picked this up on CD when it came out in '88, and of course I loved it. It's a great record. When Rhino reissued a bunch of their stuff on CD, that's when I started really kind of picking up all their albums and got into them. But this has everything that you'd kind of want as a little starter package for the Ramones. I Want to Be Sedated, Teenage Lobotomy, Do You Remember Rock and Roll Radio, Sheena Is a Punk Rocker, Blitzkrieg Bop, Rockaway Beach. Rockaway Beach should have been a hit single. How that wasn't a big top 40 hit, I don't know. Bonzo Goes to Bitburg is awesome. Howling at the Moon is awesome. We Want the Airwaves, KKK Took My Baby Away, Rock and Roll High School. Yeah, they're all on here. Great collection if you want to dive into the Ramones. If you have all their albums, I don't know that this is necessary, but if you just want something of the Ramones on vinyl without digging up their albums, this is a good way to kind of cover the basis. 2003 brings us Rancid, Indestructible. This is, I guess it must be like 180 grams. The records are heavy, and they split this album onto 2 records. I feel like probably a lot of Rancid fans will think it's a little too slick, a little kind of more in the pop punk vein than some of their earlier stuff, which tended to kind of veer a little more towards hardcore. But I like it. The songs are catchy as hell. It's a really good record. It is, it does sound a bit like slick and a bit poppy, but I mean, can't deny it. It's still a really, really good record. I saw them live. I don't remember what year. It was after this came out. But I remember being at like the front of the stage, getting ready for them to come out. And when they did, there was just that massive push behind you of just people kind of bum rushing the stage. And it wasn't even like a pit or anything. It was just like pressure from back. And I was like, I couldn't even breathe. It was like just insane. I mean, I'd been in the front of crazy shows, before and everything, but that was just another level. And I lasted maybe 5 songs, and I finally was just like, if I don't get out of here, man, I can't breathe, man. I was like, I'm gonna just pass out, It wouldn't have mattered. If I passed out, I would have still been standing because everybody was so jammed in there. But Fall Back Down was kind of released as a single. Red Hot Moon, Start Now, Tropical London, Born Frustrated is awesome. Just a really, really good collection of songs. I really like this album. I got this at Atlantic Sounds in Daytona Beach. was down there visiting my cousin and popped in to see what they had. And it was a cool little record store, you know. Price was right. I guess it says $19.99. I'm guessing that's probably what I paid. It's worth it. You know, that's pretty much the going rate for records these days, right? 2009 brings us Ravenettes, In and Out of Control. This was their follow-up to Lust, 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 which was my introduction to the band. It's a really good record. This came out, I think I borrowed it from somebody and really liked it, and maybe had the CD, and then when I got the record player and was just kind of like, okay, now I got to buy some records, I was up at Vintage Vinyl, and I picked up the Agent Orange Living in Darkness record, and then I saw this, and I was like, yeah, you know, that's a really good record. Let me pick that up, and the price was all right. And so I grabbed this one. I saw them live. I might have been supporting this record. I'm pretty sure it was. It was right around the same time up in New York, Webster Hall. It was a really good show. Picked up some of their earlier stuff after this album, and I really liked a couple of those records, like Through and Through. But after this, I felt it was more kind of hit or miss, where, you know, there was like one song from this album that I thought was good, or one from this, but I don't feel like a complete record after this I was thrilled with. But still, nonetheless, good band. This album's got some great tunes on it. Gone Forever, Bang, Last Dance, Suicide, Breaking into Cars. Really good record. I like them Ravenettes. 1989, we've got the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Mother's Milk. This was a reissue, 180 gram vinyl, Capitol Records. This was the first Chili Peppers album I owned, but I owned it on CD back in, this came out in 89. I might have gotten it in 89, or certainly by 90 I picked it up. It's my favorite record by them. I still listen to it today, and I've never gotten tired of it. It still feels kind of fresh to me, like, you know, like I'm just hearing it for the first time. Really good record. Picked this up in Jack's very early on after I was just getting back into vinyl. Picked this one up. A lot of cool tunes on here. Little dedication to Hillel, their original guitarist who had passed away. This was the first record with Chad Smith and John Frusciante on it. Some of the tunes on here: Good Time Boys, cover of Stevie Wonder, Higher Ground, Magic Johnson, Nobody Weird Like Me, Knock Me Down. I remember that video. It had Alex Winter from Bill and Ted in it. Taste the Pain was great. I think Taste the Pain ended up in Say Anything, I think. Pretty Little Ditty, punk rock classic. Johnny Kick a Hole in the Sky. I like I said, I love this record through and through. I haven't listened to it in a while, but like I said, every time I listen to it, I feel like I'm hearing it for the first time. 1984, Replacements, Let It Be. Picked this up at Spinnaker in Hyannis, Massachusetts. I was up there working on Cape Cod on a show, and I had a day off, so I decided to take a little drive down to Hyannis, walk around, check out the sights. Saw Spinnaker, this record store, and said, let me pop in and see. Saw this in the bins as I was thumbing through, and thought I had hit the jackpot. It was unopened, it was still sealed, and I thought it was an original issue on Twin Tones. I thought it was like an original. I thought, and maybe it was $20, and I was like, holy moly, like they don't know what they got here or something. And then, of course, after I bought it and everything, I realized it was a reissue. But whatever, who cares? It's not why I bought it. I just thought I had hit the jackpot. Got into the Replacements probably in like 87 or something like that. You know, what can you say about them? I never got to see them live when they were really active. I saw them on that reunion tour they did a few years ago, and that was a good show. You know, it was fun. This has got, you know, some great tunes on it. I Will Dare, Tommy Gets His Tonsils Out is awesome. Androgynous, Unsatisfied, Senior Video, Gary's Got a Boner. Love this band. They're great. Never was big on Paul Westerberg's solo, you know, which he wrote a lot of stuff you'd think maybe it would carry over, but I never really got that into it. Just the Replacements. 1985, more Replacements. Tim. Great record. Bought this online. Made a terrible mistake not opening it and listening to it right away. I had it sitting around for a while before I eventually put it on the turntable. And when I did, there was a little cut in the vinyl on Here Comes a Regular on side 2, making the end of the whole song skip, and it drives me off the wall. And like I said, I think it had been so long since I bought it that I couldn't return it anymore. The time had passed, so I was kind of stuck with it. I need to replace this because, no pun intended, it's one of my favorite records by them, and it's a bitch that there's that the side 2 ends with this whole scratch. You can't even listen to that song, really. It's a bummer. Hold My Life, I'll Buy, Kiss Me on the Bus, Dose of Thunder, Waitress in the Sky, Bastards of Young, Left of the Dial, Little Mascara. What more can you say? Awesome band. If you're not into them or if you never checked them out, gotta give them a shot. If you like alternative rock, you gotta listen to The Replacements. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. 1987's follow-up to Tim by The Replacements, Pleased to Meet Me. Got this at Capital City Records. Awesome store in Baton Rouge. This maybe was my introduction to The Replacements. I remember being at college radio, and they had a couple of carts which used to play some of the songs on. I think they had Alex Chilton and The Ledge, and I would play them on my radio show. Didn't really know the band. I would just pop them in to see, you know, what they were, and I really loved them, and I would play them like every week on my college radio show, Alex Chilton and The Ledge. Got this, probably originally I got this on CD back then, and loved it. It's a great record. This and Tim are my 2 favorite records, certainly of the sire era of this band. IOU, like I said, Alex Chilton, Nightclub Jitters, The Ledge, Nevermind, Shooting Dirty Pool, Skyway, and then of course Can't Hardly Wait, which everybody knows from that movie. Never crazy popular as far as like the charts went. You know, I mean, something like Can't Hardly Wait, you hear that and you're like, how was that not like a top 40 single or whatever? But I mean, the band, you know, was kind of a little screwy, maybe didn't help things, but it's such a catchy tune. You would have thought that wouldn't have made any difference, that the song itself the radio would have picked up on it and played it, but they didn't really. Finally, we have 1977's Roxy Music Greatest Hits. Got this at Groove Shop from their bargain bin, believe it or not. I knew stuff from Roxy Music when I was a bit younger. I certainly knew Brian Ferry's solo stuff in the 80s. But it wasn't until a handful of years ago that I really started getting into Roxy Music and picking up their albums. I have most of them on CD. And when I saw this at the Groove Shop and it was really cheap, I was like, that's pretty good. You know, Do the Strand, All I Want Is You is on here, which is an awesome tune. Love's the Drug, Street Life. Those were like the main tunes that made me go, yeah, I gotta pick that up. It's funny, I think there's a lot of songs by Roxy Music that I love that I don't know the title of, unless it's like the chorus. I don't know what the title is of some of them, but good record, great band. Can't go wrong with a little Roxy Music. So that is it for the R's. Please subscribe and like and all that stuff. And what I would really love is to hear from you. Give me some comments. Let me know what you think of these bands or these albums or other albums by them. I'd love to hear from some of you guys. So anyways, thanks for watching. We'll check it out next time.